there, fellow marketers. Professor Walters here, and today we're going to talk about is how you as a business can correctly communicate the service promise. Because the thing is when we're working with customers, especially in a service industry, we need to make sure that the customer understands the service that we're going to deliver to them so they're not disappointed. I mean, think about it. Have you ever been told it's the greatest movie ever, or this is the best restaurant in town, and you saw the movie and you thought it sucked, and you went to the restaurant and the food wasn't very good? Of course not. You're disappointed by these kind of things. And so for us, for businesses, we want to make sure we're getting across the correct service promise. McDonald's, hey look, we are going to promise to be standardized and fast to you. Burger King, your way, right away, right? There's all these things we're doing in order to make sure you have the right expectations when you're coming to our restaurant or coming to our store or wherever, okay? And I think the first thing we need to talk about is when you want to make sure you're doing this correctly is make sure you're managing customer expectations. I mean, you're not promising them the world. Look, we're a fast food restaurant. We're McDonald's. We're fast food. We're cheap. We're going to get you filled up and through the door, in and out real quick. That's what our promise is. We're not promising you a filet mignon. We're not promising you that we'll revolutionize your taste buds. Because, you know, you've been at McDonald's, you know not to expect that. But what you do expect, look, it'll be fast, it'll be on time, I know exactly what I'm gonna get, and those fries are gonna be dang good, right? And so you have that. Because if you overhype your products, it's more likely that people are gonna be disappointed. I remember 20 some years ago when the Phantom Menace came out, the new Star Wars, they're hyping it, it's gonna be the biggest thing ever, it's gonna make more money than Titanic, it's gonna be incredible. And everyone saw it and they were so disappointed because they expected the greatest thing, greatest movie ever, and they got, well, the Phantom Menace, so go check it out on Disney Plus if you need to, okay? And so you kind of think about those things. And that's why it's really important you don't make claims that aren't true about your products or services, because that's going to set them up for disappointment, and you're not really delivering on your service promise because you're promising something you can't deliver. And what kind of goes along with that is don't allow your customers to believe things that aren't true. Because what happens is if you know there's myths about your product or legends about your products or whatever, and you don't like say, no, well actually our product doesn't do this, our product doesn't necessarily do that, and then people go and buy it and it doesn't do that it's rumored to do, they're upset. It's really important that you manage the kind of service promise you're putting out there and how people are interpreting it, okay? That's why it's important you're communicating, you're listening, you're understanding what people are hearing when you're making your promises of your service promise, okay? And that's why it's really important that you only promise what you can deliver. I mean, I'm a college professor, so I get a lot of these, oh, professor, I left it at my apartment. I had it in my book and it said left it at my apartment, or I'm gonna get it to you this afternoon, or I'm gonna get an email to you later today. I'm like, sure you are. Having taught for many, many years, let's put it that way, okay? I know, students don't get all their work done. I know that, so don't tell me you're gonna get it done if you're not going to. And that same mentality goes with businesses. Don't tell them you're going to get something done by Friday if you know darn well you're not going to get done by Friday. All you're going to do is have an upset customer. So what you should do is say, look, I know you want to get this by Friday. We are not able to do that. Our earliest we can get it to you is sometime next week. Now, that sometime next week could be Monday or it could be Friday. But telling them sometimes next week is much better than saying, oh, we'll get it to you by Friday, and then on Friday sending me an email, oh, we'll have it to you on Monday, there was a delay or something like that, okay? So deliver what you promise. Don't promise what you can't deliver. That's why Buc-ee's, where this is from, this is a gas station chain in Texas, and they are unbelievable, and they promise you the cleanest toilets around, and they deliver on that promise. I mean, you go to Buc-ee's to go look at all the toilets they have. It's insane how many toilets they have. They've got a lot of toilets, and they're super clean. But it's a promise they can deliver on, and they do deliver on, so people go for that specific reason. And that's why it's really important that when you're making your service promises, be honest with yourself. What can we do? What can we deliver, okay? Because once you're honest with yourself, then it's easier for you to be honest with your clients, because you can tell them, hey, look, you know, we're a group of students working on this project. We've got 9 other classes going on. Your project is the top 5 priority, okay? I mean, I know that. I tell companies that work with my students, I say, look, you know, you're working with college students, a lot of them are seniors, so they're going to job interviews and they're trying to figure out what's going on in the world. They got 4 or 5 other classes with tons of projects, so your project might not always be the top of their, you know, agenda, and that's important because I'm honest with them and say, look, you're getting college students, you're not getting, you know, Deloitte and Touche coming to do your marketing review. They're college students that know some marketing stuff that give you some really good ideas, but I'm not going to tell you they're going to reinvent the wheel. But they will give you some good stuff because my students are pretty awesome. And that's why it's really important that you make sure that you communicate the service expectations of your clients. What are they supposed to do? So when companies work with my students, I tell them, look, you're gonna have to do a few emails and a few phone calls and give them some information, the website. You need to call them. You need to answer their emails because I need you to be a part of this because you can't get your project done unless you take part, right? It's kind of like if you look at it in terms of the diet programs, okay? I'm not saying I'm doing any, I'm just saying those dieting programs, they'll show people like before, after, right? And you see those, you're like, wow, that really works. And they just show people like, I'm doing the 90-minute exercise every day and that's what does it for me. Well, the thing is, you want to make sure if you read the fine print and stuff like that, they'll say, yes, our 90-day weight loss program will work with you in a new way possible. And it says 90 days of exercise. And then you'll notice it'll say, but also you have to follow our very strict diet as well, because that's how you lose the weight. You exercise so you feel good, and then they cut out the calories. So of course you're gonna lose weight. But it's really important that you communicate that to the people using your service, what they have to do. Look, you're not gonna lose weight on any dieting program if you keep eating ice cream and drinking beer. If you cut those things out, which is very sad, you will lose weight, okay? It's kind of like, especially if you eat as much ice cream and drink as much beer as I do. It helps to drop it out, okay? So that's why you'll see things like your cable company, like Comcast. They'll tell you, if you want to get the service installed at your house, you need to be there between 9 and 11 a.m. on Tuesday. Why? Well, they need you there so they can get in the house to put all the stuff in for the cable to work. So they're communicating to you that, look, if you want our service to work for you, you have to do something for us. Be there from 9 to 11, okay? So these are just a few things you can do to help communicate that service promise and keep it, legitimate. And so I hope this helps you know what you can do. We have other stuff like talking about how firms can unscrew up when it comes to service marketing and all kinds of other things. Anyway, I'll see you later. I'm going to watch my kid play some tennis now. Bye.